Welcome to our kitchen. Today we prepare the globi, sweet fritters from Cato's De Agricultura, a source written in the 2nd century before the current era. We start with ingredients. We need cheese, spelt, lard, honey, and white poppy seeds. First, we coarsely pound the spelt. We want to thank you for buying our book, Ancient Roman Cooking, which is available in ebook and printed edition in English and Italian. There you find a lot more information about the ingredients, preparations and recipes in ancient Rome, with the addition of many recipes from the Greco Quinaria and sources of agriculture. The word used by Cato for spelt is alica, a term that we met in the past preparing other recipes, included some from De Agricultura. Alica is a kind of spelt, but it is also a kind of preparation for spelt, described in detail by Pliny a few centuries after Cato. Pliny writes that spelt is pounded in a wooden mortar to remove the husks. The wooden mortar is better than a stone mortar, like the one we are using now, because it is fundamental not to reduce the spelt into flour. After that, the grains are broken and then sifted 3 times, one for each quality of alica, from the coarsest to the finest. The last step consists in whitening the alica with gypsum. Romans clearly bought alica already prepared and did not follow all the process we are following here. In Italy, however, a preparation similar to ancient alica is no more available, so we need to recreate something similar in this way. Alica wasn't used just in Italy. Dioscorides, a Greek physician, describes it in his Materia Medica, clearly using Greek terms. We steep the spelt in water overnight. Cato doesn't specify this step, but in other 2 recipes we made in the past, placenta and pulse punica, he writes clearly that alica must be soaked in water before using it. This step is essential. Without it, spelt would not cook enough. Another method we can follow, but probably different from what Cato means, is pre-cooking the spelt in plenty of water until it almost breaks. It is probably different because otherwise Cato would specify it. We made a few recipes from this source in the past. If you check out the description below, you find other videos with Cato's recipes, included the ones we mentioned above. Then we cut and pound the cheese. We suggest using a cheese not excessively salty. The cheese must be firm enough to be kneaded with the spelt, and there will be no further ingredients for the fritters we are making, just spelt and cheese. Ancient Romans used many kinds of cheese, mainly made with cow, sheep, and goat milk. The suggestion to avoid salty cheese is due to the fact that globi are sweet and too much salt would ruin the dish. To know more about cheese in ancient Rome and the methods to produce it, check out our Patreon page, in which you find a new article in English and Italian with the translation of a few passages from Columella's De Re Rustica, and clearly our book Ancient Roman Cooking. We drain the spelt and knead it with the cheese. As suggested by Cato, we are using a 1-to-1 ratio of cheese and spelt. Like for most recipes, Cato provides the ratio among the ingredients, helping us in this way to understand exactly how these dishes are meant to be prepared. Cato's recipes are incredibly good and simple to make, with a very small number of ingredients, as the one we are preparing today. They are very interesting, in particular because they show a culinary culture connected to another great Mediterranean tradition, Ancient Greek cuisine, quite different from the most known Roman recipes, the ones collected in the Greco Quinaria. We shape small balls with the mixture. With the ratio provided by Cato, you will obtain a dough quite soft. To fry the globi, we are using lard, one of the cooking fats that Cato prefers and specifies for this recipe. But if you want, use olive oil, another fat ancient Romans frequently used to fry. We melt the lard and fry the globi. We must pay attention that the globi are quite sticky until they are raw. They tend to stick together and to the bottom of the pan. Cato suggests frying 1 or 2 globi at a time and turning them often. We fried each batch for about 15 minutes. We will use white poppy seeds, according to Pliny, the kind of poppy seeds most common in ancient Roman cuisine. Greeks, however, used both black and white poppy seeds for their sweets. An example of the use of black poppy seeds is the recipe for gastris, an ancient Greek sweet prepared with seeds and honey, whereas white poppy seeds are used in a bread recipe by Pliny. You find the links to both recipes in the description below. We coat the globi with honey and sprinkle them with white poppy seeds. The globi are delicious and fragrant, crunchy outside and soft inside, with a complex flavor given by the sweetness of honey and the hint of saltiness given by the cheese. The flavors are perfectly blended in a simple and classic sweet. The perfect way to experience Roman cooking in the Republican age, with a sweet that revives the traditions of the ancient Mediterranean countryside. If you're interested in ancient foods and flavors, subscribe our channel and consider supporting us on Patreon.